Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be covering my build suggestion for Endless Heist, which is the Poisonous Concoction Pathfinder. I think this is probably by far the best build you guys can choose if you're either aiming to simply hit level 50 with the Path of Least Resistance in order to get a really fast mystery box, or even if you're trying to push up to level 95 so you have a chance at all the draws for different MTX. So my target audience is for either of those two scenarios, which is probably 99% of people watching anyways. Let's talk about why this build is so good at doing this. First of all, your gearing doesn't matter, so you can be a complete Pepega and not really worry about anything that drops on the ground. You don't use a weapon. Your weapon is your life flask, and that's very, very simple to craft. Just you use alterations. We'll go over that in a little bit. So all you really have to do is get resistances, and you don't even really need to get that many resistances, because as we'll cover in a few minutes, your auras are just going to be the purity of like whatever resistances anyways. So you're not making up too much resistances on your gear. So the second advantage is it's just fun to play Poisonous Concoction. It's a one button ability. You just right click to throw your poison attack. And the bonus is that as you're doing this attack that's already pretty fun, you're charging up a second ability called Plague Bearer, which is just completely broken. You just press Plague Bearer and it puts this really big circle around you. You don't have to do anything else after that. You just run and everything in the circle is going to die. So it is very, very simple. It's very straightforward, and I enjoy playing it. So the final point is, yes, it's strong and it's fast and it's very easy. The skill will carry you, and as we will cover shortly, there are very few skill gems required. So you don't have to worry too much like checking a spreadsheet or something like, do I have the gems required? Because we're just going to cover that right now. There's very few gems required. Alright, so from level 1 to 12, we will be locked out of using Poisonous Concoction, because that requires level 12. So you're just going to start with the basic unique bow and unique quiver for Ranger. You're going to slot in Caustic Arrow and Pierce Support, and that will work very well. And as we get closer to level 12, you can start using some of the supports for Poisonous Concoction in your third. So like you can maybe put in Void Manipulation if you want or something. Anyways, as soon as you hit level 12, you want to drop the bow and the quiver because Poisonous Concoction is stronger. So in order to use Poisonous Concoction, you're going to have to make a second character that's a Templar or just any of the classes that start with the unique shield. You're going to grab the unique shield, put it in your stash, delete that character, equip the shield on your Ranger. And you're going to fill those 3 slots with Poisonous Concoction, Lesser Multiple Projectiles, and Volley Support. And that's going to start carrying you until you can find a 4-link. Once you find a 4-link, if the 4th socket is blue, you use Unbound Ailments. And if the 4th socket is green, you use Void Manipulation. Technically, you could also use Vicious Projectiles, but I think that slows your attack speed, but that would also be fine. So yeah, I guess that would be your 6th link, would be these two as well as Vicious Projectiles. 4 links are very easy to get. You can get it with an Orb of Binding. I'm sure you'll drop plenty of them. So there is your main attack, and then Plague Bearer, which helps carry you. It's just Plague Bearer with increased area of effect. And now you're going to want movement skills. You have a shield, so we're going to use shield charge. And we're going to use Flame Dash because... Or wait, no. You can use Flame Dash, but the problem with Flame Dash is it uses charges with Withering Step. So I like to use shield charge with Withering Step, and I just put Withering Step instead of my move. So like when I left click I'm casting Withering Step. Now, we have the main attack, we have Plague Bearer as our second attack, which is sort of like our main attack actually, that we charge up. Got the movement skills. The only other gems you need to worry about are your auras, and I will quickly explain when to use which aura. As you're pushing level 50, I would just put on Purity of Elements. It gives you a bunch of all resistances, which means you can ignore gear more easily. And then for your second aura, I would probably advise just looking at what resistance is the lowest, and depending if it's fire, cold, or lightning, I would use Purity of Lightning, Purity of Fire, or Purity of Ice. So you just put on 2 auras, Elements, Ice, and then just go from there. But there are 2 other alternatives you can use. One of them is Precision, and one of them is Herald of Agony. Now I'm going to explain the situations. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to explain the situations very quickly on when you want to invest in these tech. So Herald of Agony gives you 20% chance to poison on hit. So you're going to want to look at Poisonous Concoction and go to Offense and look at your chance to poison. See, I have 105% because on the passive tree we get a lot. But if this was like 80%, or if it was like quite low, then we can get an extra 20% from Herald of Agony. So this is an option early on before you get all the passives for poison chance. Now Precision, you want to look at the same tab, Poisonous Concoction, Offense, and look at your chance to hit. Now my chance to hit is 80%. Yours is almost definitely going to be higher than this, because as you can see I have 31 passive points available. I'm using a high level character in Standard to demonstrate this, and every single time you gain a level, your accuracy goes down. So I'm like 31 levels of like it messing up my accuracy, so that's why my accuracy is so low. But if your accuracy is bad, you just throw in a Precision and keep leveling it until you have a pretty good chance to hit. You might not need to level this to 20, but that's just the situation when you would use Precision. Okay, so we've went over all the skill gems. It's very simple. The only 2 we haven't talked about are Greater Multi-Proj and Greater Volley. And just remember, at level 38, you get access to these 2, and they're a direct upgrade to Lesser Multiple Projectiles, as well as Normal Volley. So level 38, we just sub these in, and it's much better. Okay, now we're going to go over how to craft the flask, because this is the only thing you have to craft yourself, and you just use alterations. So if we're pushing only level 50, obviously we won't have access to Divine Flask, but this is relevant to any base flask. So here we have the just normal healing is 2,880, and you want to get a prefix roll that increases that. So for example here, we have the prefix full bodied, which gives us 58% increased amount. So now instead of 2,880, we're at 4,450. And the higher that number, the more damage a Poisonous Concoction does. Now here, we have the same prefix, but it's T2 instead of T3. And this one's called Concentrated. So now we're up to almost 4,700. And there is like a T1 as well. But it's just try and get like, doesn't need to be T1, doesn't even need to be T2. Just, you want higher than the base. So that's how you craft your life flask. Your mana flask, obviously you want to roll until you get the prefix Enduring. And then your other flasks, just use whatever. I'm using Jade, Quicksilver, I don't even have a 5th one here. So those are the gems, real simple. I might put a Google Doc in the description that just lays out in text form what gems you need. And now we're going to very quickly go over the passive tree. Now, this is the passive tree for pushing level 50, which is I assume what most of you guys are trying to do just to get the free mystery box. It's pretty simple. Just goes in a line, go down here, go up here, fill it all out. Now, pathing down here, we get onslaught with increased effect, and we get phasing. So if you want to be a little bit quicker, you could head down here earlier. But if not, if you're pretty happy with your speed and you're worried more about damage or just whatever else, you can path up here first, just depending on how your character feels. Now, there's the alternate tree here, which shows if you are pushing to 95, this is what you would do if you want to go the block build. It's what I use for Endless Delve. We have a chance to, no, we have, what is it? Life gain on block, and we have high block chance. We crafted this shield. So you can either do this block variation, or if you don't want to go into block, which is basically just this part down here is all of the block nodes. It also converts your evasion into armor. So we have, like, this is my Delve character. I had 60,000 armor. It's pretty easy to get that. Like, my gear isn't good. If you don't want to do the armor build, the alternate is very simple. I didn't even make a tree for it because I can just explain it in a second. You just go down here for spell suppression. You just go up here for spell suppression. And if you need, you can also go in here for spell suppression. And you need to get 110% spell suppression, because this gives you 10%, but only when you're at full life. So just keep in mind, if you don't want to do the armor build that I'm going to do, and you want to go spell suppression, this is what it would look like, and you aim for 110. And you can take off points as you get some spell suppression on your gear. Alright, I've also included a tree if you wanted to do occultist. This is what it would look like. I'm not gonna talk about it too much, but it's like the same principles, except in my opinion it is less of a mindless go at it, because you need to actually like get your curse gems and stuff. I think this is totally unnecessary. It's just going to take you longer to hit your level 50. It's going to take you longer to hit your level 95. You're going to have to put more thought into your gems. So I don't recommend this, but if you guys want to do this, I'm providing you the template on how to do it. Alright, now we will go into some gameplay showcasing. Alright, so now we're going to demo what a level 50 character would look like gameplay wise. We've leveled our gems up to level requirement 50 approximately. We've allocated 50 points worth of passives. Now we haven't used any ascendancy points, so we are losing damage there. This is a Deadeye character and I was too lazy to run lab, so we're just gonna assume, we're just gonna like lose the damage that you get from your most important ascendancy, and I'm still gonna show you. This is still very, very strong. And gearing wise, I don't really have any life. Like, I just have random uniques to cap my res here, so if you were not paying attention to items at all, you will probably be similar tankiness to this guy right here. But do make sure you're at least picking up enough gear that you're capping your res. Like, I don't really care what else is on your gear, just make sure you're 75 to the Ellie res. Chaos res doesn't matter. Okay, gameplay wise, when you get into a map, you want to first toggle Plague Bearer on, because then you're going to start the counter where whenever you hit something with Poison Concoction, it increases that counter. So in the top left, I think right now it's going to cap out at 118. Once it's capped out, you just press it and you get that circle around you, and it does a lot of poison damage to anything that happens to be in the radius. Now, this about concludes this video. This video focuses mainly on hitting level 50, as you can tell. We do have the POB in the description that goes all the way to 95, but we are going to be focusing more on the journey from 50 onwards, probably in the forthcoming video, because I am going to be playing this on Friday when the league actually launches, and I plan to share my actual progress with my actual character on the Friday night. So feel free to subscribe if you want to see how the character actually pans out, because this is just sort of the template. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll enjoy this build guide. I'm sure you will. It's super strong, and I will catch you in the next one.